Hello, I decided this video would not be a silent story. I'll give y'all a break, but I thought I would discuss a phrase. And that phrase is think self. Now, that's literal, right? Think self. And you can do it really fast, um, or you can do it like this, think for yourselves. And it's not anything derogatory. It's not like, well, you just need to think for yourselves, right? Um, so like my my mother and I think maybe my grandmother said, you need to think for yourself instead of allowing your sister to think, for you. So, I mean, you could say it that way, but make sure that the most of the time that you're using that sign or that phrase, think self, it is not negative or derogatory. It is more of, if you put it in English, then you would say, you decide for yourself, or you can make that decision for yourself. So, like, for example, you can say, oh, I like the blue or the orange. What do you think? And that other person's going, think self. You decide. Maybe they don't like either one, and they're just going, just like when you get your hair cut, right? And then you ask your friend, you go, well, do you like it? Or what is it, or how does it look? And they'll go, well, do you like it? So it's kind of like that. But most of the time, like for example, I was watching this video about a recipe. It's an R on here, like a card, like a recipe, like the line for line for line, a recipe. And it was talking about some of the different ingredients that you could put into this recipe. And she was talking about some cheese. And she had decided on a specific kind for the recipe. And she said which kind. But then she said, and then she showed, the package, and it was this round. But then she said, think self. But you decide. In other words, you decide. If you want a different kind of cheese, you can. But she didn't say all of that. She just said, think self. You decide. You make that decision. If you want something different, go ahead and do that. You decide. Think self. So it's never derogatory, and it means a whole lot, and you don't have to add anything. And I think that's what I like about it. I've never seen it in a derogatory thing where our tone, our voice, intonation, so well, I guess think for yourself. That phrase is not to be used in that manner. It is you decide. Think self. You decide. Or you can make a different choice. I put in this, or I'm going to add this, or I'm going to have a red dress, but think self. You decide. Like, oh, what are you wearing to the party? Right? Girls say that a lot. What are you going to be wearing? Say, oh, I'm going to have this red dress, and it may be really fancy, and they're going, and you go, but you decide. You decide what you're going to wear. Think self. So it's never negative. It's never in an insulting way. It's always it's your choice. You decide. So those are ways that we as English speakers assign that. It's your choice, or you decide. But in ASL, it's think self, and it means those same kind of English sentences. So I just kind of wanted to say that because when I see that, that's what my mind automatically says, but you decide. So that's what they're saying, but they've got this really cool, quick, phrase. Anyway, I thought I would discuss that phrase, and there's probably many more. It's not an idiom, idiom, idiom. It's a phrase. You understand what I'm saying? The difference is, so in idioms or like puns, or it can, it has all different, it has like a different meaning or a deeper, or something that is totally different from what you're saying. This is a short phrase. think self, not think for yourself. You decide. Oh, you can say, oh, like you come in to church or a big, like you're going to some big meeting or something like that, and then you ask the person you're with, where do you want to sit? And they go, think self. You decide. Instead of saying maybe, where do you want to sit? Which is what we do in English, right? Where do you want to sit? Oh, I don't know. Where do you want to sit? Right? We say that. I think, more especially girls, right? But a deaf person would say, you decide. Or like, I don't know. You decide. I don't know. Think self. You decide. It's never, like I said, it's never like, why don't you think for yourself? It's not in that tone. So never when you see think self, never think in that tone. It's, well, think for yourself. It's not that. If they wanted to say think for yourself, they would probably say it in a different way, right? Like, and because they're not English speakers, we would say it in a different way. It's like, well, you probably need to start making those decisions for yourself, right? That's when we want to try to teach or help another person know to make decisions for themselves. But think self is more like, I don't know, but you decide. Whatever you want to do is fine. You decide. What do you want to? Where do you want to eat? Which restaurant? You decide. Think self. You decide. Okay, well, I was thinking about maybe Italian. No, I want Mexican, right? So those are kind of ways that people communicate. So I just wanted to clarify in case anyone makes that, think self as that, and maybe kind of feel like, oh, they insulted me or my feelings are hurt. I don't want that, because that is, it's not the way that it's meant or used. So anyway, practice and think about different phrases on how you would say, well, you decide, or you make that choice, right? So think about that, how you can use, oh, think self, and make sure that your facial expressions are think self, right? As opposed to think self, right? It's you decide. I don't know. You decide. I don't care. You decide. Practice. I will see you later. Bye.